This is continuing coverage and the trial of Richard Merritt from the Hidden Killers podcast on the True Crime Today network.
Ms. Richardson, thank you. When did your relationship with the defendant end?
When he was arrested.
Okay. And approximately when was that?
I think the beginning of September.
Have you seen or heard from the defendant, or seen or spoken with the defendant since?
He's sent me postcards and tried to call me.
Okay. I have nothing further.
Cross.
Good afternoon, Ms. Richardson. You first started talking to Richard at the end of June of 2019. Is that right?
I don't remember the specific dates. I know that we met sometimes after the 4th of July.
Okay. And that meeting after the 4th of July, that was in person?
Yeah, I met with someone calling themselves McMelbow.
And that was?
Calling themselves McMelbow.
And that was an in-person meeting, right?
Yes, ma'am.
That was at the Mellow Mushroom?
Yes, ma'am.
And you went on other dates after that?
Yes.
At some point, did you change your communication from the app to texting?
Yes.
And you exchanged phone numbers to do that, right?
Yes.
And you testified that he was working at a bar at the time, right?
Yes.
And that was, I think you said it was a dive bar called Betty's.
Yes.
And so you and Richard had different time schedules as far as your work. Is that fair to say?
Yes.
And you would work and go to school mostly during the day?
I would work during the day and into the evening.
And his hours were at night?
Yes.
Right. And sometimes you would come home very early morning hours in the morning, 3:30 or 4 o'clock in the morning?
Yes.
And did you give him a key so that he didn't have to wake you?
Yes.
During the time that you were dating Richard, he was never aggressive towards you, right?
He was agitated and frantic at times, but he never tried to physically harm me.
And you recall meeting with detectives in Nashville, Detectives McQuilkin and Detective Weissman.
I don't remember their names offhand. I met with detectives after he was picked up.
Okay. And you told them that he was not aggressive towards you, right?
No, he never tried to be violent towards me.
Okay. He never had any reputation for physical violence, right?
I don't know what his reputation was.
When you were dating him?
I don't know what his reputation was with his friends.
Okay. But he never displayed any physical violence towards you?
Not towards me.
Okay. Thank you.
Can you redirect?
Yes. You used the words. Let's stand up here. You used the words agitated and frantic. Can you describe what you mean? Just kind of elaborate on what you would describe defendant's behavior as?
I think it was the weekend before he was arrested, and when I told him that he needed to find a place to live, at first I told him to go back to his cousins, and he said that he couldn't go back to his cousins, and that I told him I needed more space, and he became upset and was pacing and he was pacing, not making eye contact, and would go and like hold his head in his hands and said he had no place to go and made excuses why he wasn't leaving.
Did he ever raise his voice?
Not on that occasion. He did get angry for some things that happened at work before, but not on that specific occasion.
Okay. And what was he like when he got angry?
It wasn't. There wasn't anything notable about it. It was just anger that, someone at work had not treated him the way he thought he should be treated, and just, mouthing off about it.
Okay. All right. No further questions.
Any further questions of this witness? May the witness be excused.
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you, ma'am. Call your next witness.
Your Honor, the state calls U.S. Marshal Hunt, Gerard Hunt. Yeah.
Please raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that your testimony will be the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Lower your hand for record. Please state and spell your name.
Investigator J. Hunt,
Investigator Hunt, where do you work, sir?
26 years with the DeKalb County Sheriff's Office, 12 of which I've been assigned to the United States Marshal Service.
Okay. And so do you work for the U.S. Marshal Services or DeKalb County?
I work both. I'm a liaison for the DeKalb County Sheriff's Office with the U.S. Marshals.
Okay. What do you do there?
My duties range from apprehending or locating and apprehending subjects that have high violent crimes, ranging from murder all the way down to aggravated sodomy.
Okay. And how long have you done this again? 12
with the U.S. Marshals and maybe 10 with DeKalb County, I guess, somewhere around that number.
Okay. And this entire time, I'm sorry. So in 2019, were you tasked with locating the defendant here?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Do you know when you were tasked with locating this defendant?
Actually, not certain of the actual day the warrants came out, but the warrants came out, and a partner of mine who is a task force officer out of Cobb County, he and I got together when he just advised me that the suspect had a previous case out of Cobb County in reference to a civil matter. So, how about now? Can you hear me better now? So he and I got together and discussed that the warrants that were for the suspect was out of DeKalb County. I retrieved the warrants. We sat down and discussed the possible plan to trying to locate the suspect and moving on from there.
Okay. Now, the initial steps of the investigation, what was done then?
So initially, TFO Davis that I was working with, he and we conducted interviews with family members and some female associates. After conducting those interviews, the leads kind of went dry. So we kind of stayed back for a little while and just tried to continue hoping that the Crime Stopper tips that were coming in would be something that was successful.
Okay. And at some point, did a tip come in, or did you get information that led you to this defendant?
Actually, yes. So I received a call from one of the DeKalb County homicide detectives who advised me that the vehicle that belonged to the victim was located in Nashville.
Okay.
On that particular day, we boarded the U.S. Marshal's plane and flew out to Nashville.
Okay. Do you know what day that was?
The 27th of September 2019.
Okay. So you went from DeKalb County to Nashville, Tennessee?
Correct.
All right. Now, when you got to Nashville, Tennessee, what did you do there?
We met up with the U.S. Marshals in Nashville. As customary, we have to be respectful for the community that we're in. So we got with those gentlemen, and we actually made our way to the towing yard where the vehicle was. We got to the towing yard, discovered the vehicle, and was given permission to look through the vehicle because it was part of our investigation. Upon looking through the vehicle, we discovered a Louisiana, I think, driver's license and some other items that had associations to names that wasn't quite something that we was familiar with.
Okay. And so what's on the screen here is State's Exhibit 75. Do you recognize this vehicle?
I do.
What is this here?
That is the vehicle that was believed to belong to the victim.
Okay. And I'm showing you what's marked as State's Exhibit. Okay. Showing you what's marked as State's Exhibit 76. This is the back of the vehicle.
Yes, sir.
All right. And State 77 is this just the other side?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, y'all, did you guys conduct a search of the vehicle?
We did.
Okay. And there was items found inside?
Yes, there were.
Okay.
I located a receipt from Target and some eye prescription from an eyeglass company.
Okay. Best case, I'm going to go through these with you one by one. I'm showing you what's been marked as State's Exhibit 79. Do you recognize that?
I do.
What is that here?
This is a flyer from an establishment in Nashville that we retrieved out of vehicle, and after conducting an interview here, we found out that the suspect had been to this location.
Okay. Now, is State's Exhibit 79, is this the flyer that you recovered from the vehicle?
Yes, sir.
All right. And Your Honor, at this time, the State Defender States 79.
Any objection?
No objection.
Admitted.
Next, showing you what's been marked as State's Exhibit 80. Do you recognize that?
I do.
What are those?
Receipts from Target in Nashville.
Okay. Where were those receipts located?
Inside the vehicle as well.
Okay. Do those receipts appear to have been tampered with it in any way?
No, they have not.
And Your Honor, at this time, the State Defender States 80.
Any objection?
No objection.
Admitted.
Showing you what's been marked as State's Exhibit 81. Do you recognize that?
I do.
What is that here?
This is the eye doctor that we conducted an interview with.
Okay. Now, State's Exhibit 81, is that the card?
This is the card.
Where was the card located?
Also inside the vehicle.
Okay. And is that the same card that you located on September 27th of 2019?
It should be, yes.
And Your Honor, at this time, the State Defender States 81.
Any objection?
No objection.
Admitted.
Finally, I'm showing you what's been marked as State's Exhibit 82. Do you recognize that?
I do.
What is that?
This is driver's license with the photograph of the suspect.
Okay, and what's the name on the driver's license?
Excuse me, I have to take my glasses off. Mike Malvac.
Mick?
Yeah, Mick, I'm sorry. Mick Malvac. Can't
Okay.
see. I have my glasses on.
Is this the same identification that you recovered from the vehicle on September 27th of 2019?
It is.
Okay. Your Honor, at this time, the State Defender States 82.
Any objection?
No objection.
Admitted.
All right. So, other than these items here, was there any clothing or cash recovered in the vehicle?
In the trunk of the vehicle, there was a large tub that had clothing in it. I think a pair of shoes, and inside the shoes we located cash over $500.
Okay. All right. Now, when you got these items, after you searched the vehicle and you got these items, what was the next step in the investigation?
So we left the location and got with the officers and the U.S. Marshals in Nashville. And at that point, we didn't have anything at that particular moment that we wanted to do. So we came back to Georgia, and then on that following Monday, we made our way back and started conducting interviews at those locations. We went to the Target. I went into Target and saw video footage of the suspect entering and exiting the establishment. One of my partners spoke with the eyeglass doctor at the Walmart and was able to get information of the name and showed him a photograph. And he also confirmed that that was the subject that he was seeing for the eye appointment.
Okay. And Betty's bar, did someone go to the bar?
Yes, someone went to the Betty's Grill and spoke with the staff, and they also advised us that Mr. Merritt had been there.
Okay. After you guys kind of did all that and determined that he was in the location or in that area, was surveillance set up anywhere?
So Monday, after we made our way back, I conducted surveillance with a partner of mine. We sat near the Betty's locations, and then the rest of the team was surrounding the area. And for some reason or another, we had got information that he was known to be in that area. So we just decided to stay there. And then shortly afterwards, one of the guys observed a male subject walking down the street and advised that it could be possibly our suspect.
Okay. When the male was seen, what happened next?
We allowed the male suspect to go inside. One of the other officers on the team entered the location to try to make 100% out of the location. Once he got inside and determined that it was, we then decided to take make the arrest inside the establishment.
Okay. Do you know what the establishment was?
I think it was a thrift store.
Thrift store?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So it's like a clothing store?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Were you one of the investigators who was present for the arrest?
I was.
Okay. And the person who you arrested, do you see him here today?
Yes, with a haircut now.
With a haircut now? Can you just point out where he's located?
He's sitting in between the black gentleman with the white beard and the female with the black glasses on.
Right.
Is Mr. Merritt.
Your Honor, may the record reflect that he's identified the defendant?
Record shall so reflect.
And the arrest was made of Mr. Merritt on September 30th of 2019?
Correct.
I have no further questions, Judge.
Cross.
How you doing, Dave?
I'm doing well. Yourself?
I'm doing good, brother. And it's gray, not white.
It's white. It's great.
So, Marshall Hunt,
Yes, sir.
you were obviously involved in this case in 2019, correct?
Correct.
And you were telling us that you're not exactly sure of the date in which you got involved in the case?
Not when they initially got the arrest window.
Okay.
If I had the one in hand, I could probably tell you the exact date.
I can approach Judge.
Yes.
Marshall, I want to show you a document. And maybe that'll help refresh your memory as to when it was in which you got involved in this case.
So it was shortly after the actual day the warrant came out. The warrant was assigned to me, and I proceeded to pass it off to the other task force officer because he had a vested interest in it.
Okay. And I guess let's delve into that a little bit. Because it looks like the warrant goes out February 2nd, 2019, correct?
Correct. Yes, sir.
And that's, I think we've already said that's a Saturday. So were you involved on that Saturday, or was it until the next week when you got involved in the case?
Possibly the next week.
The next week. And as you told us, pretty much you're working sort of interagency.
Yes, sir.
And you've been doing that for many years now.
Yes, sir.
So you work for DeKalb County, but you're sort of tasked with the U.S. Marshal's Office.
Correct.
And so you get involved in the case. We're looking at around the first week of February, around the 3rd, 4th, 5th, somewhere around there, correct?
Yes, sir.
And you told us that basically you get information from the DeKalb homicide, other sources to see if you can get some leads on where the suspect may be.
No, I didn't say it.
So how did you, oh, sorry, you talked to Cobb County.
No. As far as me being involved,
Mm-hmm.
I got involved because the warrants were assigned to me because I work for DeKalb. The arrest warrants started out of DeKalb County. The incident occurred in DeKalb County. So the supervisor of DeKalb issued the murder warrant to me because I'm the liaison with the U.S. Marshals for DeKalb County.
How did Cobb County get involved?
Cobb County had a previous case that they were working. I'm not certain what it was, but they had a previous case that they was working.
Okay. So were you aware that he had an outstanding warrant in DeKalb County that made him a fugitive?
Yes, sir.
Were you aware that he had an outstanding warrant in Cobb County that made him a fugitive?
No, I didn't. Not initially, I did not.
Okay. But over time, you're aware, and I guess it doesn't really matter. You knew that, as you said, serious cases, homicide, serious case, right?
Yes, sir.
And you said over time, I guess it grew kind of cold.
Yes, sir.
Until eventually this vehicle shows up in Nashville, Tennessee.
Yes, sir.
And you get word through, looks like the cab homicide, that the vehicle's in Nashville, and you're involved in the case. So you pursue the vehicle, and it looks like on the 27th of September, 2019, that's when you went to the parking lot and I guess the impound lot and found the vehicle.
That's correct.
And you mentioned that there are some items that you located in the vehicle, the exhibits which you had before us, and this tub with some clothes, shoes, and some money.
Yes, sir.
Now, those items, the clothes, the shoes, the money, what happened to those items?
They stayed in the vehicle.
Okay. So at any point in time, were those items processed as evidence?
I believe that the DeKalb County Homicide Unit did.
Okay. Now, you personally, you didn't take those in as evidence?
No, I did not, sir.
Okay. But the vehicle, it was in an impound lot. It was in a secure facility, right?
That's correct.
And to your understanding and knowledge, the DeKalb County Homicide at some point in time traveled to Nashville and took those items in evidence.
I believe so.
Okay. And obviously, given that scenario, you were not tasked with turning those items over to any type of agency for processing.
No, I wasn't.
Okay. Your focus is locating the fugitive.
Yes, sir.
And as you mentioned, you track down the lead with the vehicle, you examine the vehicle, you get some information from the vehicle, and then you return back to Atlanta.
Yes, sir.
But then within a couple of days, you go back up to Nashville.
The 30th.
The 30th. And that'd probably be like Monday or Tuesday.
Yes, sir.
Of the following week.
Yes, sir.
And it looks like within what period of time did you locate the suspect?
The actual 30th, around 4 o'clock, I believe.
Okay, so within a matter of hours of getting back there, doing surveillance, he was located inside this thrift store.
Yes, because we left out very early Monday morning.
Okay. And then, of course, he's located inside the thrift store and he's taken into custody.
Yes, sir.
Without incident.
Without incident.
Thank you, sir.
Any redirects?
No, Judge.
May the witness be excused?
Yes.
Mr. Queen?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. All right. This was your last one?
For today, yes.
Okay. All right. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to release you a little early this afternoon. We're sharing a witness with another court in another state. So she won't be available until we come back on Tuesday. So that will be the first witness that you hear from when you come in on Tuesday. So please remember, no court on Monday. You all are free to go to work or not if you choose to. But we won't have court on Monday, but I will ask you to be back on Tuesday at 9 a.m. And rest assured, we're still working on the same schedule that I informed you about when we were doing jury selection. We have made some really good progress, and I think we may be actually moving a little faster than we anticipated. So please remember the instruction, because you're going to be away from us a little bit longer. Not to talk about the case. Don't do any independent research about the case or any of the testimony that you've heard. At this point, please continue to keep an open mind. There's still further testimony for you to hear, and I don't want you to make your mind up about anything before you've heard all of the evidence and heard the instructions of the court. Okay? So please have a nice weekend, stay safe, and see you all on Tuesday. Thank you.
You're listening to the trial of Richard Merritt from the Hidden Killers podcast on the True Crime Today network. Press subscribe now and get ad-free episodes by upgrading to our premium experience through Apple Podcasts. More next.